The Rivers State Elders and Leadership Forum have condemned in its entirety the directives for the resolution of the political crisis in Rivers State. It says Nigeria is a constitutional democracy where only the courts can order the reversal of acts done or carried out under the provisions of the law. Therefore, any resolution or directive that intends to undermine the principle of separation of powers and the rule of law is unacceptable, null and void, and will be resisted using all constitutional means at their disposal. They therefore tagged the resolution by President Tinubu as an executive rascality. Ekine Henry, a legal practitioner, joins me now to further discuss the developments in Rivers State. Thank you very much for joining us. Good to see you. Let's begin by getting your perspective. Holistically, the situation has come to this. The president has issued some statements. Elders are saying, we don't know what you're talking about. Is this for you as well an executive rascality, or there are some other explanation?
Yes, that's first a description of what what represents what the purported meeting or mediation or agreement was in Abuja. I have even added to say that that for me is the Abuja imposition. And it's not just executive rascality, but executive tyranny and dictatorship. That's just the clear resemblance of what has happened really yesterday. It's condemnable, it's unfortunate. It simply indicates that what we have is civil dictatorship, really. Not much different from what we used to have when we had the military junta and dictatorship in this country. So, and that's very simple to understand. Right. We make the point that it is only and only the position of the Constitution that must define what relationships must exist in a democratic society, especially a constitutional democracy, as we have in Nigeria.
There are some, what will I call it now? Is it confusion as to the signatories to the resolution that was reached at Aso Rock? And one of them is that Fubara, the governor, signed that document as well. And there are those who are saying he did not sign it. Are you aware of this controversy on top of that controversy, or it is just mere talk?
Well, I do not know the signature of the governor of Rivers State. I do not know what color of pen that he uses to sign his signature. But for those who have come clear and then publicly to say they are confident that the governor didn't sign that document, of course, I would only probably rely on those assertions. But personally, I do not know the signature of the governor. I do not know what color of pen he signs. But suffice that to say that even if the governor signed, let me make a very clear position of law, that you cannot agree to commit an offense. It is not acceptable that persons will conspire and then come on a common purpose and agree to commit an offense. The same way, you cannot agree to commit an infraction or a violation of the provision of a constitution. So even if they all sign, even if they all agree that they signed that document, that purported document cannot be enforced because it violates the provisions of the Constitution in many ways. There are apparent violations and contraventions of the provisions of the Constitution. The purported powers that the president assumed and then purported to assert never exist. It is not vested with any such power by any law at all. You cannot come by way of an agreement, a purported agreement, which I have christened the Abuja imposition, not even an agreement. The Abuja imposition cannot overrule the provisions of our Constitution.
Ekine, I'll be very intrigued to get your perspective, line for line, all the resolution that was allegedly reached at the Aso Villa. But let's look at a broader issue. Your legal perspective, what would be the potential consequences of the political feud between Wike and Fubara for the people of Rivers State, particularly in terms of governance and democracy?
there shouldn't even ordinarily been any feud between a serving governor and an ordinary citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with respect to the functions of the governor as vested on him by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So it will be unwieldy for one to even analyze any perceivable feud or discord or disputation between a serving governor and a former governor and current minister of the Federal Capital Territory with respect to the performance of the functions of the office of the governor. But that is happening in Nigeria because we are replete with impunity and then deliberate violation of the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But what that portends to Rivers State and the people of Rivers State, which are one as an indigene and a resident in Port Harcourt and in Rivers State, is that it impedes the development of Rivers State, good governance in Rivers State. The purpose for which government is really formed is to continually enhance the good governance, the welfare of citizens, and then ensure the protection of lives and property of citizens. So where there is this distraction, and then the government in fact, the governor is distracted from his primary responsibility of continuing to enhance the welfare of citizens and the protection of lives and property of citizens, then it becomes a disturbing experience, very worrisome to those of us who are resident in Port Harcourt and in Rivers State. So what really the challenge is to all of us is that governance has been challenged, democracy is threatened, and for me, I've even advanced my argument to the fact that democracy has been murdered, probably awaiting interment. The burial of democracy is just imminent in Rivers State. And then is to worsen that situation, the president has given credence to that demise of democracy by his pronouncement and purported. The president has no constitutional power. There is no portion of the provisions of our constitution that vest any power on the president to give directives to a democratically elected governor to act one way or the other with respect to the functions of the office of the governor of the state.
Ekine, those are really strong words there, and I'm sure we've not seen the end of that crisis in Rivers State. We'll definitely be coming back to you in the coming days. Thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you very much for having me. It's always my pleasure to be on your platform.